Okay, so for this deep dive, we're going somewhere pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You guys sent in something
compelling.
Really compelling, a transcript from a YouTube video, and it's all about... It's about a manuscript.
A manuscript.
Yeah, a 1,200-year-old manuscript.
Which they're calling forbidden.
They call it forbidden, yeah. The Bardo Thodol, or...
more commonly known as
most people know it, the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Right, yeah.
But this video is looking at it in a really unique way.
Yeah, it's not just like a...
It's not just a religious text?
Not just a religious text.
It's like a guidebook, almost.
It's like a step-by-step.
What happens
in the 49 days after you die.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're saying that this ancient manuscript holds some
pretty significant hidden knowledge.
About
the afterlife.
About what really happens when we die.
Yeah.
So the big idea here that the video really emphasizes is that death
isn't the end.
Not the end of the story.
It's not the end of the story. It's not the final curtain call.
It's like
it's more like the opening scene.
Yeah, it's more like the opening scene to something, a new kind of existence.
Yeah, a very different existence. Yeah.
So our mission
in this deep dive
is to really explore these ideas that
are in the video transcript.
Yeah, that are in the video transcript.
About this manuscript. About the Bardo Thodol and
what happens.
What it suggests about the afterlife. Yeah. So
let's jump right in. So
first of all,
like what happens first?
What's the very first thing?
Right when you die.
That happens when we die, according to this video.
Well, they say that consciousness continues.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't just
So it doesn't just fade to black.
Everything doesn't just
end. Your awareness is still there.
It's still going. But it's untethered from the body.
It's untethered from your physical body.
You can still
see and hear
things.
What's happening around you.
Yeah, you can see.
Maybe your loved ones.
You can even see.
People trying to revive your body.
Like medical professionals.
Trying to
save you, trying to bring you.
Yeah.
Kind of unsettling to think about that.
It is. It's a little creepy.
The video, they bring up near-death experience.
Yeah, they say that this is very similar to what a lot of
people have reported.
Report in near-death experience.
That feeling of floating above your body and
thing above.
Yeah, watching everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Does the manuscript specify like how long this lasts?
Well, the transcript doesn't really give
a specific time frame to this initial awareness.
Okay.
But what it does talk about is what happens next.
Okay, so what happens next?
This bright, radiant light appears.
A bright, radiant light.
Yeah, and the video really emphasizes that this isn't...
Not just any light.
This is like a key moment.
This is the moment
when your soul begins to realize that it's no longer bound by the physical form.
So it's like that moment when you
realize you're dreaming.
Yeah, it's like... Oh.
The rules of the physical world don't apply anymore.
They don't apply anymore.
Yeah.
Now the video talks about how people might react to this in different ways.
Yeah, because some people might.
Some people might feel a sense of peace and liberation.
Yeah, like a freedom.
Yeah, but other people might just be...
confused.
Yeah,
it's huge.
It would be a huge shift.
Yeah.
What do you think about?
Well, I think it makes sense.
It makes sense that
your experience
would be
personal,
really personal, even
in death,
and
the video says that your state of mind, your fears, your attachments in life, are going to influence how you react.
They're going to influence how you react to this separation.
Yeah.
So from that moment of realizing you're separate from your body.
That you're not your body anymore.
You're not your body anymore.
You go into this.
You enter the
49-day journey.
49-day journey through the Bardo.
The
Bardo.
Yeah.
So I know
in the Tibetan tradition?
The Bardo isn't...
It's not just like a...
Not just a waiting room.
Yeah, it's not just a waiting room. It's
a dynamic...
Yeah.
Transformative...
In-between state.
Yeah, between death and rebirth.
Right.
The video's description of the Bardo, though, sounds
really so fluid and dreamlike.
Like the rules of reality that we're used to
just don't apply anymore.
They don't apply.
Time doesn't even work the same way.
Time becomes meaningless.
Meaningless.
Is this a common theme?
I was going to ask, is that
another?
Like, do other spiritual traditions?
Yeah, a lot of traditions.
Let's talk about this as well.
Talk about this non-linear nature of time.
Okay.
Especially when they're describing realms.
The realms beyond.
Beyond our physical perception.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a recurring concept.
That's interesting.
And the transcript really emphasizes this fluidity.
Yeah.
Like it says that you might
re-experience.
Relive your past memories.
You might relive your past memories.
You might encounter beings you knew.
You might see people and beings you didn't know.
Yeah, beings you didn't know.
Yeah, so it's a time of
it's a pretty
intense transformation.
Yeah, sure.
Psychological and energetic.
Okay, so one of the things that stood out to me in the transcript was this idea that initially you're still attached.
You're still attached to your life.
To the life you just lived.
Yeah. And
you might want to try to communicate.
To communicate with your loved one.
With your loved one, but you realize...
You can't really interact the same way anymore.
And that just sounds...
heartbreaking.
Really heartbreaking.
Frustrating.
Incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, because you're
stuck. So what happens?
Well, it seems like...
after that.
It's a process of detachment. Yeah. And that's necessary for the soul's progression.
Okay.
And the transcript describes more intense experiences.
Yeah. Okay. Like what?
Like dazzling celestial lights.
Dazzling celestial light.
Incomprehensible sounds.
Visions.
What?
So it's a
sensory overload.
Overload beyond our comprehension. I mean, who knows what that would even be like?
Yeah.
But it sounds intense.
Yeah. So we've gone from those initial moments after death to this journey through the Bardo...
The 39-day journey.
49-day journey.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets really interesting because the video...
Starts talking about the power.
The power of our minds.
Of our own minds.
Yeah.
The afterlife isn't some...
It's not some external judgment.
It's not like...
a courtroom in the sky.
Like a courtroom in the sky.
Yeah.
What you're saying is...
What I'm saying is...
It's more about what's going on...
Inside of you. Yeah, the internal landscape of the soul. The transcript. It says our thoughts,
our fears, and our desires.
And our desires are shaping. They're shaping the Bardo experience.
Yeah.
And it's not some external force.
Passing judgment.
Yeah. It's more like how your anxieties in a dream can manifest as scary figures.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's like that same power.
Yeah, that same power.
But just amplified.
Amplified because you're not limited by...
You're not limited by your physical body.
Yeah.
So if someone has
cultivated a sense of...
Yeah, if they've cultivated a sense of inner peace.
And spiritual understanding.
Yeah.
During their life.
Then this Bardo phase could be...
Yeah, it could be a chance for...
A chance for ascension.
Ascension to higher dimensions.
But for people who have unresolved
fears
and negative emotions.
Yeah, and negative emotions.
It sounds like sounds much more turbulent.
Yeah, more turbulent.
More turbulent. The transcript actually says that those unresolved issues
can turn into
manifest
as terrifying illusions. Or even what people might see as demons.
Not demons, but it's not.
But it's not like...
It's not like they're actually demons.
Yeah, they're not external.
They're more like projections.
Projections of your
own turmoil.
Inner turmoil.
Yeah, amplified in this fluid state of consciousness. So you go through all of these intense
Bardo experiences.
And then
you reach kind of a crossroads.
A crossroads and decision point.
Yeah, the transcript calls it a final choice.
A final choice.
Yeah.
What's the choice?
The choice is whether to
re-enter
the cycle of reincarnation.
Okay, so to go back
to Earth.
To be reborn.
To be reborn, yeah.
Samsara. That's what it's called in Buddhism.
Yeah, that's the Buddhist term for it. Or to achieve liberation.
Liberation from
that cycle.
From the cycle of birth and death and rebirth.
Yeah.
And so the video says that the pull...
Yeah, the pull toward reincarnation...
is really strong.
For people who are still...
You're still attached.
To their earthly life.
Yeah.
To their possessions. Or if they have unfinished business.
Yeah. So then you'd be reborn into a new physical existence.
Yeah.
Often with
no memory.
No memory of your past lives.
So this cycle of rebirth, it's not like
not a punishment.
It's not a punishment.
It's more like
it's like a consequence.
Yeah, a consequence of clinging to this.
Yeah. So what is it?
Well, according to the video, it's this.
What are we clinging to? Why are we clinging?
We're clinging to this misunderstanding
of reality, that there's this permanent self.
Yeah.
And that worldly pleasures are going to last.
Yeah.
And that's an illusion.
That's an illusion.
And so that clinging is driven by desire and fear.
Desire and fear?
Yeah, the fear of letting go.
Fear of letting go. So the alternative
to that clinging and reincarnation is liberation.
Is liberation. So that's for the souls
who've recognized that the Bardo is an illusion. Yeah. And they've released
their fear.
Their fear and their attachment.
Yeah. So what does liberation look like?
Well, according to the video.
Don't buy those things anymore.
Yeah. And it's about recognizing your true nature.
Recognizing your true nature.
As part of something much bigger.
Yes.
Like a drop.
A drop rejoining the ocean.
Yeah. Now, this brings us to a really important question.
Yeah.
Okay, why should we care?
Why should we care about this now?
About all of this right now.
In our lives.
Yeah.
Why is this relevant to us?
Why is this relevant?
While we're still alive.
Well,
the video makes a pretty clear connection between these ideas. And how we live today.
Okay.
So it's saying that
our present thoughts.
Yeah. Our thoughts, our fears.
The things we're attached to.
They're not just
abstract feelings.
They're not just feelings.
They're
actively shaping.
They're actively shaping our experience in the afterlife.
According to this manuscript.
Yeah. It's not like something that just...
It doesn't just start.
Suddenly starts when you die. It's already happening. They're already shaping it now. Yeah.
It's like training.
Yeah, it's like mental and emotional training.
For the ultimate transition.
Yeah, for death. Yeah.
So by becoming aware of our thoughts. By confronting our fears.
And by practicing non-attachment.
In this life. We're preparing ourselves.
Yeah, we're preparing ourselves for
that post-death.
That post-death journey.
Yeah.
The video actually calls this a shocking truth.
A shocking truth.
That the afterlife is being molded.
Right now.
Yeah. In this moment.
By the way we think.
By how we think and act.
Yeah. That's a pretty big deal.
It is. It's a lot to think about.
As you're hearing this, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm just thinking about all the ways that we maybe don't
even
realize how we're shaping our afterlife.
Yeah.
It's pretty mind.
Yeah. The transcript then goes on to talk about
like why.
Yeah, why.
This knowledge.
Why this knowledge.
If it's so important.
Yeah.
Might have been suppressed.
Yeah, like why haven't we
heard about this before?
Why is
the video hints that
people in power.
Yeah, people in positions of power. They might actually benefit from us fearing death.
Yeah. So the idea is if we think death is the end.
Yeah, if we think it's all over,
we're more easily controlled
through fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fear of loss.
The
fear of oblivion. That's
powerful motivator.
Powerful stuff.
But if we knew
that death was just a transition, like the Bardo Thodol suggests.
Yeah.
Then maybe
our priorities
and perspective
would shift.
Would totally change.
Completely.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about this idea
of time.
In the afterlife.
The illusion of time in the afterlife.
Yeah.
It's
a concept.
Yeah.
That's so different.
It's so different
from our experience of time here.
From our everyday.
Our linear time.
Yeah. Ticking away.
Tick tock.
So explain this a little bit more.
So in the Bardo, time becomes
fluid,
malleable.
Yeah.
So moments can feel like
eons,
and then
like sequences of events.
It
can happen in seconds.
Yeah. It's like time in a dream.
Like in a dream,
where you can have this whole
epic story,
and a story unfold,
and it feels like minutes.
Yeah.
In the real world.
So the video is suggesting something similar happens in the Bardo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this could explain.
Yeah, this could explain those near-death experiences.
Where people
report.
Yeah, where they report.
Like these life reviews.
Yeah, whole life review.
Where these profound insights.
Happening in a flash of earthly time.
So then this really...
Makes you question.
Our
perception of reality.
Like what are physical senses?
What limitations?
Yeah, what limitations are they placing?
Are they putting on how we perceive
the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty trippy.
It is pretty trippy.
Yeah.
And so the transcript connects this idea
back to our current lives.
Yeah.
Like maybe this different view of time.
Yeah, maybe this different view of time
could ease some of our anxiety.
Yeah.
About regret. Getting older. And feeling like we're
running out of time.
Yeah. Because
if the soul
is eternal.
Yeah.
Then
That sense of urgency.
Yeah, maybe that urgency is just an illusion.
Is an illusion.
Created by our limited perception.
Our limited perception.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, it's a whole different way.
Now, the video also talks about
karma.
About karma.
Yeah.
But not necessarily in the traditional sense.
Not in the traditional sense.
Yeah, right.
Not as like...
It's not like...
punishment and reward.
Punishment and reward.
Okay, so how does it...
So they're saying that karma is more like this principle of cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
That operates...
throughout existence.
Yeah, throughout existence. Every action. Every intention create an energetic consequence.
It has an energetic consequence.
Okay.
So during those 49 days...
In the Bardo, yeah.
Yeah. You're confronting
you confront
those energetic imprints.
The energetic imprints you made.
That you created.
During your lifetime.
Yeah, during your life.
It's not about judgment.
Yeah, it's not like...
It's more about
experiencing...
the reverberation
of your actions, yeah.
Both good and bad.
Good and bad.
Positive and negative.
Yeah, positive and negative.
And the transcript also talks about...
this life review.
Yeah, life review.
You're not just...
Yeah, you're not just seeing.
Your past actions.
You're also
feeling the emotions
that you caused.
Yeah.
That you caused in others.
Yeah.
So if you cause pain,
you feel that pain.
From
the other person's perspective.
From their perspective.
Yeah.
And if you brought joy.
You feel that joy. Yeah.
That's a pretty intense.
It's a deeply empathetic reckoning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea here
is that this understanding
of karma.
Not as punishment, but as a direct
consequence.
Should change. How we live now. Should encourage us.
To
choose
kindness.
Wisdom.
Compassion.
Yeah. So it's not about...
It's not about avoiding punishment. It's about
cultivating inner harmony.
And understanding.
So finally the transcript talks about...
these gateways to higher realms.
Yeah. Okay.
That exist
within this
49-day journey.
Yeah.
So these aren't like...
they're not physical doors.
Yeah, they're not physical doors. Not like Stargate.
Yeah. The video says that these gateways are states of awareness. Yeah, there are
opportunities
for the soul
to progress
to higher planes of existence.
Yeah.
To move beyond the cycle of rebirth.
Yeah.
To reach liberation. Okay, so how do you
recognize these gateways?
Yeah.
And how do you pass through them?